Call this special open council meeting of today, June 25th to order. I'll remind folks that we have a live audio video feed that's being broadcast and recorded by Zoom and is available on the Town of Golden YouTube page. I'll let folks know that we have Councillor Hambrook and Councillor Dale attending virtually, and we have the remainder of council around the table, and we have senior staff around the table. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land in which we gather is the shared ancestral territory of the Tanana Secwepemc people. Golden is also home to the Métis Nation Columbia River Society and other diverse Indigenous heritage. We're grateful to have the opportunity to live, work, and play in this territory. Any changes to the agenda? No, so then we'll go on to the adoption agenda of the special open council meeting as presented and look for a mover. Councillor Routley, Councillor Guio. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. No delegations, no reports from committees, and we on to reports from staff in the planning and development department. Mr. Armstrong.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Ozust. I'm pleased to be back in front of council with some further analysis on the DCC scenarios that council wanted to look at. And live in the virtual world, we have Sarah Anderson and Jen Waite with Urban Systems to present the latest analysis for council.
Welcome, folks. Who's going to start us off?
I will. Thanks for having us again.
Hello, Sarah.
So Jen and I will take the next a little bit just to talk again about development cost charges, the DCC bylaw implementation. And starting with maybe just a little bit of agenda. We want to do a little bit of a background information, just a recap of the April 7 council meeting and the requests from council that were made at that meeting. And then going into DCC project and rates, the revised rates, and again, look at the community comparison and then the next steps. So just some background. So how did we get here? So in early 2025, DCC scenario was reviewed with all project and presented to council for information only. And that just to provide information to council or really the infrastructure gap in the community as it was analyzed in the Transportation Master Plan, the Sanitary Sewer Master Plan, the Integrated Water Strategy, and the Active Transportation Network Plan. And also the Integrated Stormwater Plan. At that time, like the calculated rate based on all projects that will be needed to support the growth in the community, were in the range of 88,000 for low density dwelling unit and around $533 per square meters for a commercial industrial institutional. Clearly, like these rates were too high to support growth and support like changes to all infrastructure to support the growth. So in May 2025, council supported scenario 2 that was presented for the rate. And based on this scenario, like the total capital cost was 31.5 million with 1% municipal assist factor, which resulted in the municipal cost around 2.9 million and the DCC recoverable cost of 28.6. The municipal cost of 2.9 million resulted or can be translated into 1.4% annual property tax rate increase for the next 25 years and 1.04% annual utility fee increase for the next 25 years to support growth in the town of Golden. In the fall of 2025, Council approved front-ending of the 12th Street lift station and the upstream sewer pipe north of the station. Hence, the DCC program was reduced to account for these changes. We remove a few pipe segments upstream of the 12th Street lift station, and we also reallocated the benefit factors for the Fifth Avenue South sewer pipes based on changes that were made to the DCC guideline by the province. And these changes resulted in provide guidelines for a municipality and the consultant working with them that when we are looking at the upgrades of existing infrastructure, the benefit factor allocation should consider like the condition of the pipes. We then revised the DCC program and hence the capital costs were reduced from 31.5 to 28.9 million. And with the DCC recoverable cost reduced again from 28.6 to 25.6 million. In January 2026, we went to public consultation with the reduced rate. And in February 2026, the town completed a survey for like the town budget and the DCC survey. The public engagement results through either the survey or the consultation that was done in January was then summarized in what we heard the report that was presented to council in April 7, 2026. With the rates that were used during the consultation. And again, on April 7, the draft DCC rates were in the range of 34,000 for a residential low density, 31,000 for a residential medium density, 28,000 for the residential high densities, around 70,000 for the commercial accommodation, $170 per square meter for commercial, $150 for industrial, and the $166 for the institutional. Based on what we heard the report, that's what we heard from council, the April 7 meeting. There was the council interest to revise the DCC rate and present two options, come back with two options. One option with the deferral of the wastewater treatment plant upgrades cost by 5 million. The second option, like the deferral of the wastewater treatment plant upgrade by 10 million. It was also interest from council to calculate the DCC rate by square meter basis to compare to the per unit basis for the residential development. We heard from council some concerns regarding the DCC rates for apartment and townhouses being too high. And the recommendation to check the allocations of the equivalency between low, medium, and high density residential. And also we heard from administration some interest to explore DCC phasing options with the ministry. So here we are, we urge you, and we are now apply the recommendation and recalculate the rates. First of all, I want just to go over some project. I know there is always an interest of which project are included and which project are not. The project that you will see here on the list are pretty much all the same. There is just a couple of changes that I will speak to it. So same project that were used and were presented during the public consultation, and they were presented also to council during the April 7, 2026 meeting. So the transportation projects, the only change that was made was for the transportation master plan to include just one update and not two updates. And that was based on also council discussion during the April 7 council meeting of the desire to update the DCC bylaw more frequently or every 5 years as recommended by the province itself. So that was the only change that was made to the project list for the transportation category. And then if we go in the water project, again, the only change that was made was for the water master plan to include one update and not two, for the same reason, assuming there will be the desire to update DCC bylaw every 5 years. And then for the sanitary sewer project, a couple of changes here. One, again, to include just one update to the sanitary master plan and not two. And the second one, to reduce the wastewater treatment plant upgrade cost by 5 and by 10 million. And so in the slide, you can see how the total project list. We have two of them. They represent like the two total. One if we reduce by 5 million, and one if we reduce the cost of the wastewater treatment plant by 10 million. And then no changes were made to the park project, which included just the park master plan. And now I pass it over to Jen to take us through the calculation and the numbers.
So as Sarah outlined there was two different cost options outlined for that wastewater treatment plant. Option 3 here is the $5 million option. So this chart summarizes the capital cost in millions for each of the programs, which is 23.9 million. And then shows the DCC recoverable cost under the scenario as 20.4. And then the municipal responsibility totaling 3.5 million. So part of these options as well is the difference in calculation for that residential rate. And notably here, the change in equivalency factor for the low density single detached dwelling rate as well. So any options with an A represent a scenario with the per unit calculation. And then option B will be our per square meter, which we'll get to shortly. So under this option 3A scenario, we're sitting with a low density residential draft rate at 36,000, a medium density at 23,000, a high density at 21,000, commercial accommodation at 13,000, and then for the per square meter GFA rates, the commercial is $135.40. Industrial is at $115.73, and institutional at $152.11. So for the most part, most rates have gone down with that 5 million, but that low density detached actually did go up, and that is due to that change in that equivalency rate, making more assumption on usage due to the inclusion of secondary suites in that assumption there, which all impacts where all the other rates are staying due to an increased share of those costs being reflected on that low density rate. And then for option 3B, again, this option represents the calculation of residential charges on just a per square meter GFA. So all residential uses would be charged on the GFA rate of $225.10. So now we have option 4, which again is that $10 million wastewater treatment plant cost reduction. So the capital costs now work out under this option 4 at 18.9 million. The DCC recoverable sits at 15.4 million, and the municipal responsibility is at 3.4 million. So under 4A, all of the rates are more reduced here. As you can see with the low density detached single family rate, it's $26,000. With medium density, it's $17,000. High density is at $15,000. Commercial accommodation at $10,000. And then for the square meter GFA for ICI, or commercial, industrial, institutional, we're sitting at 108 for commercial, 88 for industrial, and 125 for institutional. Under the option B scenario, with residential uses calculated on a per square meter gross floor area basis, the rate there is $164.82. So we did reach out to the ministry to further discuss DCC phasing options. And it was reiterated by the ministry staff themselves that the DCC best practice guide recommends phasing through utilization of the assist factor, which we had previously discussed. The ministry preference, and importantly, the ministry is the final approval authority for the DCC bylaw. Their preference is that the best practices are used since they were developed in partnership between the province, local government, and development community. It was highlighted that though an option, developers benefiting from the full component of infrastructure would be receiving a bit of a discount through municipal assist, as they'd only be paying a portion of the rates themselves due to that increased municipal assist factor. And then just a bit of summary again about the municipal assist factor to remind everyone. So the municipal assist factor, which is set in the current program at 1%, is the amount the municipality chips in. And the minimum is 1%, and it can only vary by program. So that's infrastructure type and not by category of rate. So we can't vary based on use of land. A higher municipal assist factor means lower DCCs, but a greater burden on existing residents. This is because the municipal assist factor will have to be covered from funds outside of the DCC reserve fund. And in that case is typically user rates or taxation. The municipal assist factor is entirely at the discretion of council. And previously council did support a municipal assist factor of 1%. We wanted to go over this section again as well, just in light of the decisions that council will need to make. So for every new DCC rate bylaw adopted, the DCC rates will be effective at bylaw adoption unless a future effective date is set. However, legislation provides protection to in-stream development applications. So this includes building permit applications, subdivision applications, and precursor applications to those as well. So for in-stream protection, the existing applications receive 1 year in-stream protection. So if a application was submitted and it was a complete application prior to the date of the DCC bylaw adoption, and then they receive a building permit has been issued or a subdivision was granted within that 1 year of adoption, the old DCC rates will apply in those cases. So, as I said on the previous slide, to qualify for those previous DCC rates, these applications must be made prior to adoption of the new DCC bylaw, and then the building permit and subdivision must be granted with 1 year of that adoption, or the rezoning and development permit applications must result in a building permit issuance of 1 year within bylaw adoption. So with those rates in mind, we'll flip over to the community comparisons. Again, as I said last time when we talked about the community comparisons, this is not necessarily an apples to apples comparison due to the different requirements required by every community for infrastructure. And each of these rates reflect those considerations, as well as existing DCC reserves in their communities and their anticipated growth. So it's more of an apples to oranges, but we'll give an idea as to where all the rates are sitting regionally. So for comparison for this residential per square meter rate, that option B scenario, the proposed golden rate sits at $225.10 for option 1, and then $164.82 for option 2. To facilitate this comparison, since the only community on this list that currently charges on a residential square meter basis outright is Revelstoke, all of the unit rates for the comparison communities were converted to a square meter GFA based on average unit size. So the numbers presented here represent an average of the single family, townhouse, and apartment rates where those are applicable. For the scenario A, we have the low density. Again, this is charged on a per dwelling unit rate. We have option A, the option 1, so that $5 million option with the rate of $36,251, and option 2 at $26,418. So those two cost scenarios don't provide much of a differential to move golden around too much as in terms of the low density rate calculated. And then for medium density, we have option 1 at 23,728, sitting within the top 3 comparators, and then option 2 at 17,470, sitting in the top 5 comparators. So just falling just under Cranbrook. And then for high density, we have the option 1 set at $21,088, and then option 2 at $15,426. So that results in coming down from the top of the high density rates there under Sunpeak's current rates. For commercial, we have the proposed option 1 highlighted, and then where option 2 would sit as well. So sitting within the top 4 with the option 1, and then lower compared to the other communities for option 2. So about the 6th highest in this group of comparators. For industrial, we have option 1 sitting at $115.73 and option 2 at $88.91. So this keeps golden within the top 5, but option 2 will be the lower of the top 5 rates based on these comparators. And then for institutional, we have option 1 and option 2. Option 1 at $152.11 and option 2 at $125.29. Again, within the top 5 range for comparator communities in this instance. So then we'll jump on to the next steps. So here, our slide here has outlined council direction provided by staff, and that is that council direct staff to proceed with preparing the development cost charge background report and DCC bylaw for first and second reading, and then the choice of scenarios. So 3A, 3B, 4A, or 4B. Again, 3A represents, so option 3 represents that $5 million reduction to the wastewater treatment plant. And then scenario A is the per unit calculation of DCC rates for residential, and B is the per square meter. And then option 4 is that $10 million reduction. So then following council direction, this is the list of our next steps that will proceed. So the draft background report will be drafted and a DCC bylaw as well, and they will be brought to council for first and second readings. We will submit the DCC bylaw and background report to the ministry for preliminary review. Make any required updates from that review to the DCC bylaw and background report. And then the final report and bylaw will be brought back to council for third reading. Then finally, the submission will be made to the ministry to receive ministry approval. And once ministry approval is provided, the bylaw will be brought forward for final adoption. And that is it for our slides here. And I can flip between slides if there are any questions from council or any further details they wish to discuss.
Thank you very much. Anything to add, Mr. Armstrong? Then we'll go on to questions of council. Councilor Manuel.
I'm just wondering how long the process with the government who is going to, we set it up and then they review and then we go back to it and then they go back to it. All this before we actually do a final bylaw, which if I understand correctly means that if an astute builder will get in quickly before we have a before we've passed this bylaw. Is that realistic?
Who would like to respond to that?
Through the chair, is your question based on the timing of this or the ability for a developer to get in for in-stream protection beforehand?
I think the second, because if I understand again, if they get in before we have a signed bylaw and they've done their homework, then they can get some benefits out of their being in there quickly.
Through the chair, correct. If they submit their application prior to this adoption, final adoption, they would be subject to the in-stream, but that is also contingent on the ability for that development to receive either that building permit or subdivision approval prior to the year being up for that final adoption of the bylaw, so that anniversary of that bylaw adoption. With other communities, we do note that there is an increase in development applications due to this scenario that do come prior to the final adoption of the bylaw.
Any follow-up? Mr. Armstrong, supplemental?
We've been openly communicating that these increases are coming and explaining the in-stream protection. And I think if people have complete applications in, that's totally fair and in the legislation that they would pay those lower rates. And following adoption of the bylaw, if they don't have a precursor application in or a building permit application in, they don't have that protection. But unfortunately, those are the rules to provide people time to adjust to market conditions and realities of the new costs. And we have been communicating it since well, at least probably a year and a half.
Any other comments, questions, council? Councilor Cooper?
Yeah, so my question is around the benefit factor, because I see we've gone from 100% that was previously supported now to 75 to 100%. So I'm wondering why we've dropped down to the 75 instead of the 100%. And I notice in both the 5 and 10 million, our municipal responsibility has gone up, even though the projects have gone down, cost of the projects, but we've gone from the municipality's responsibility from being 2.9 up to 3.5%. Can can you please explain, one, the benefit factor, the reason that's changed down to 75, and the difference as to why the municipalities' responsibilities costs are up?
Yeah, through his worship to Councillor Cooper, I can answer to that. The change to the sanitary sewer program, the benefit factor from just 100% to 75 to 100% range is due to the fact of the changes that were made to the DCC guidelines by the provincial government. And that was again in consultation with local government, developers, and the province. Where the province is coming from, it was the consideration of when an existing infrastructure is upgraded to consider the condition of the infrastructure, meaning that if an infrastructure was installed by the municipality, for example, couple of years ago, so it's still, I would say, mint condition, and now it needs to be upgraded to support the growth. In that case, the benefit factor will still be 100%, so 100% attributed to growth. However, if the pipe that the existing pipe that needs to be upgraded, or roads that needs to be upgraded, is now already 10-year-old or 15-year-old, and has been used for a while, like the benefit factor should be reduced from 100% to something less than 100% to consider the condition of the pipe. And where is that reduction less is really to look at the condition of the infrastructure, which Golden invested in the past in asset management, and so we know the condition of the existing infrastructure, and evaluate what is like the infrastructure at in their infrastructure age span, and reduce the benefit factor accordingly. That's why you will see like the reduction from 100% to a 75 to 100% range of the benefit factor. As a consequence of that, the municipal responsibility increase, because now the benefit factor like has been reduced, meaning that the developers are paying a portion of it, but the municipality is paying an increased portion of that as well. So there is a less contribution for developers when benefit factors are less than 100%, but more contribution from the municipalities.
Thank you for that. Any follow-up, Councilor Cooper?
I guess I was just curious because if we reduce by 5 million, we're up to 3.5, the municipality. But if we reduce by 10 million, the municipality is down to 3.4. So that doesn't make sense to me very clearly. And also, what was the tax implication? Because in the previous report you gave us, it was 1.4% annual property increase. Do you have that we can discuss what the actual tax increase would be for both of these scenarios?
So would that be our accounting department that would do that? Who'd be doing that? Who'd have that information? So you're translating this into.
I want to compare it to what was before. And so if the fact that this has changed and we had 1.4%, so the previous chart that we're looking at also would have had to change, would have gone down to 75 as well. I'm just curious as to what the actual tax implication is now between the two scenarios.
I see that. I don't believe anybody's willing to venture a guess. That might be what it is. It's a guesstimate. Is that information that could come back to us at a later time?
Yes, we would need the town financial department and CFO to verify the exact percentage for these changes.
Is that something you'd like to follow up on, Councilor Cooper?
Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can figure out something. But yes, I would like to know that because I feel like that's important. We're looking at raising a taxation. That's the bottom line. And not having that means we're guessing. And to me, that's an important piece.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a desire to gather that. We'll just Councilor Cooper's gonna do some, what would you call it? Napkin calculations. Mr. Armstrong, you had your hand up?
Yeah, there was two questions there, but I think the first one is that ballpark number that Urban initially provided of 1.4 annual property tax rate increase for the next 25 years to cover that 2.9 million assist. If now we're talking about 3.4 and 3.5, you can do that rough math on that. And then there's also the utility amount that was 1.04 increase to the utilities. Those rough approximations are still valid, which I think is why those numbers weren't updated for the purpose of presenting these 4 additional scenarios. And you had a second question that I don't think got answered.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
I can.
Sorry, the second question was about the 3.4, like the 10 million increase and the 5 million increase, and then it only shows up
100,000 difference.
or decrease. And I'll let Sarah speak to that one.
Are you able to go ahead, Sarah?
So maybe just going back to the back of the napkin calculation or quick calculation here to answer Councillor Cooper question regarding the tax increase. So I would say scenario 3 and 4, because the difference is really 3.5 and 3.4 million for a municipal responsibility. There will be approximately 1.69% annual property tax increase and 1.30% of utility fee increase. And again, these fee increase are due to the fact that benefit factor for sanitary sewer had to be changed to a range of 75% to 200% because it will not be accepted by the ministry given the changes to the DCC guideline as 100% only.
Thank you for that. Anything else, Councilor Cooper? Okay, Councilor Grill.
You. I was just wondering how per square meter works at subdivision when we don't know the floor area for collecting.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, we would shift for new subdivided lots and to collect at the building permit stage. And then the way the bylaw would likely get drafted is there would be an assumed floor area for any existing lots that are subdivided. So let's say that's set at 150 square meters. If someone comes in and goes, I want to add on to my house and it's above that 150 square meters, you'd calculate on that an additional amount. So that addition, let's say they had 130 and they're proposing another 50 square meters, you'd calculate 30 square meters times the DCC rate.
Any follow-up, Councilor Grill? But there are others by the sounds of it. Okay. Let's share them. Councilors, anything else? Councilor Hambrick or Councilor Dale?
No, I'm fine.
Councilor Hambrick?
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm kind of taking a step back even further. So all of this assumes no grants. We're on that assumption because we cannot guarantee that we were getting grants. With the $5 and the $10 million reductions, there is the opportunity for making up those differences possibly by grants. So how would that fit into the system? Would you be making adjustments or would that be by definition a bit of a windfall? Okay, so I wasn't clear on the question.
And so, to your worship, so let's just say if the town of Golden is receiving a grant to support the upgrades of any of the project, including a DCC project list and
Correct.
bylaw, the grant can be used to do so, and the bylaw can be updated at the next round and take out from the project list the project that they have received grants and have been completed.
So my takeaway from that is you could actually make adjustments to the bylaw if in fact you were successful in one of these grants for one of these projects that are identified in the DCC process. Is that a correct takeaway?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Manuel?
I'm just wondering, we're going to be coming up with something we approve, and then it's going to go to the provincial government. Then it comes back to us. We do some more work. Then it goes back to the provincial government. Are they dealing with these things, reviewing on an expeditious way, or are they something where a few months from now we're saying, whatever happened to them?
Through the chair, the intention of the preliminary review in this case is to ensure that when the final submission gets provided to the ministry, the final review is a lot faster and we don't get held up in review process with any items that the ministry wishes to question or push back on. So typically that preliminary review takes about a couple of weeks from staff, and it does not represent a full-fledged review, but it typically helps reduce the overall review time at the final end there. And then that final review of the DCC bylaw usually takes about 2 to 3 months, depending on that pre-review and the capacity of staff at the ministry.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Councilor Guil?
So with regards to the full, like the wastewater treatment plant, its scope was like 11.5 million. If we defer it to 6.5 million, what treatment capacity is that? Yes. And does deferring open a window where growth outpaces treatment capacity?
And I'll look to Mr. Cochran.
Upgrade is funding.
Sure.
Through your worship, I may also defer to Sarah to answer part of the question, but council might recall the last meeting that we had, we talked about reducing the contribution, the DCC contribution to the sewage treatment plant, and spoke about the need to invest additional monies into the sewage treatment plant at the next DCC bylaw update in 5 years. Because the current concept plan for the sewage treatment plant to take us into the future 25 plus years is estimated today at about $30 million. We are, to remind council, the sewage treatment plant is subject to capacity issues in 2 different ways. One of them is through seasonal inflow and infiltration into the system, so we're being inundated by groundwater. The other one is during peak periods through just sheer biological loading through tourist accommodations and visitations primarily. So we can manage those today. It'll be really, in my mind, it'll be a matter of monitoring that the performance of the plant and our ability to manage those capacity constraints seasonally. The short answer is I'm not too sure. Sarah may have a better answer to that, but I can say that if we were to commence design today on a upgraded sewage treatment plant, we're probably at least 5 years away from being constructing, having additional capacity.
Thank you for that. Sarah, anything to add?
Yeah, so to to your worship. Mr. Cochran is correct in that if we start design today, it's gonna be probably a 5 years process just to get like through the approvals and the provincial approvals. We're going through right now also like a review of the wastewater treatment plant registration. So with all that said, the difference allocation of reducing by 5 million to 10 million is really like to have a line in the DCC program where the town can start collecting some money that can be allocated to the future upgrade of the wastewater treatment plant. And so like any growth that like will need to be accommodated right now by the wastewater treatment plant, like the town can still collect some money for it. To Mr. Cochran point, like the total cost estimated for the upgrades needed to support the growth for the next 25 years in the town of Golden is around 38 millions. So what is here in the bylaw is a cost that they reduced from what it will be the true cost of the upgrades. But again, it just for the town to start collecting the money instead of getting to a point where there is no any more capacity and no money that was contributed by the growth that's happening in the town right now and using the capacity of the plant.
Thank you for that. Moving on to councilors, Councilor Cooper.
Hi, yeah, I did have another one, and I think this is more for Phil to so the transportation, we have 150,000 for a transportation master plan, and we have 150,000 for a sanitary sewer project, and then we get to parks and it's 230,000 for the master plan. Can you please explain what the difference is and why there's $70,000 more for the rec master plan than the other two?
Yes, through your worship to Councilor Cooper, the town of Golden doesn't have currently or never had a park master plan. So compared to other master plan or integrated water strategy, those documents already exist. So there is a background, a baseline, an existing condition that are known. So the updates to those plans are less costly than start a new one, like the park and master plan from the very beginning, if you want, with the assessment even of all the existing infrastructures within the parks.
Thank you. Any follow-up? No, okay. Anything else, council? Good, then I'm sorry, Councilor Routley.
It's okay. I will take it personally. Thank you. And I guess it's kind of an extension from comments from Director Cochran around the outsized impact and kind of the surge impact from tourist accommodations. And so I appreciate the specific kind of carving out around considerations for commercial accommodation. Were there any other communities or comparators on those rates? I didn't, or was it kind of, for most places, was it kind of living within just commercial?
Through your worship, there aren't typically commercial accommodation specific rates in other communities. The approach for tourist accommodation or commercial accommodation is dependent on how they would define those in the bylaw. Sometimes that falls under a commercial use and the commercial rate is applied. In scenarios where the commercial accommodation is more of a suite style and behaves more like an apartment, then the residential rate could apply there. But that is entirely at the choice and discretion of the community based on their anticipated growth in that area.
Follow up, Councilor Routley.
Thank you. So for clarity, so rather than having kind of some discretion around, you know, it being a traditional accommodation, a hotel or motel, and so clearly fitting with the commercial, or maybe a short-term rental that would otherwise live maybe within residential because of the form of the building development. So we've specifically carved it out. So is the approach then like any purpose-built short-term rental, whether it's a traditional accommodator or if there's specific suites set aside in a development in the future that are short-term rentable or specifically built for short-term rentals, they would fall under that rate?
Apologies.
Go ahead.
Through the chair, that would be dependent on how we would choose to define the application of the commercial accommodation in this case. Maybe I'll pass that along to Mr. Armstrong to discuss further on that strategy.
Mr. Armstrong?
The commercial accommodation rate is one that has historically been in the town's DCC bylaw, so it's for the classic hotel room. We're now seeing a shift to more suites and you know, even things that are under a hotel banner having basically the apartment style, like base camp was that style. So when we were in early stages of looking at the DCC program, which kind of comes first, but you know, you have bylaw drafting in mind. We had that when we get into the bylaw drafting that we would charge the higher apartment rate or for like suites in a hotel scenario, which is higher than the hotel room. And if it's a secondary suite, it would be charged the low density rate, which is even higher. So so those will be captured in those ways.
Thank you.
Please correct me if I'm missing something or spoke wrong, Sarah and Jen.
No, through your worship to Councillor Rowley, it really depends exactly on that, on zoning bylaw and definition of a commercial accommodation or type of commercial accommodation in the town bylaws.
Any follow-up, Councillor Lee? Okay, for myself, ideally, I would like to have a graph that compared 3A, 3B, 4A, 4B, as opposed to flipping back and forth and doing the comparisons. And having a very simple mind, I broke it down to the categories and what my preferences were. So for residential, I liked option 2 that was presented. I could live with option 1. And my intent there is to crank it up for single family residential. For low density, I like option 1. For medium density, I liked option 2. I'm all over the map, so be careful here. And what I did is I went to where I felt our community should be in the comparisons. So I'm just going by the sheets that have the comparisons, option 1, option 2. You interpret those as relate them to whether it's 3A, 3B. I went on to medium density. I could live with option 2. And again, that's lowering it than what option 1 has. And the intent there is to promote lower density or the medium density. With the higher density, I like option 2 because it's a lower rate. Again, that's us promoting comparatively high development of high density buildings, and which I think is the intent here from a services perspective. We don't want to mushroom out, so we have to, the only way we can be able to provide those services is by going up and having the higher density. Then I slid into the commercial, and I was a little bit indifferent for both commercial, industrial, and institutional. I was somewhat indifferent, but for each of them, I picked option 1, which was the higher rates. And again, it's back to where do we want to be when a developer looks at communities. How you translate that into the bylaw, good luck. I have no idea. So this is just from the gut saying where I'd like our community to be in those comparisons, because that's in fact what developers do. We're always held up against somebody else. Well, they're way the hell up here. Well, when you look at ours, well, we are way the hell down there. We are at the absolute bottom. We have failed our community in many ways by not keeping these on an ongoing basis going up higher and higher. So that's kind of where my headspace is at. How you translate that into the bylaw, I'll leave that to many smarter folks than I. Thank you for that. Thank you for allowing me to have my say and to throw that wrench into it. And I'll go over to Councillor Routley, then Councillor Manuel.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think that that's, in my interpretation, captured in the intent around the square meter gross floor area approach, just using the sort of orange or the apple to orange attempts on that slide. 185 square meters, roughly a 2,000 square foot home. It lands at that like 30,000 mark. And certainly, doesn't necessarily penalize, but certainly captures the intent around promoting higher density. And in my mind, at least, simplifies it. I know that there's maybe a bit more on the administration side. Certainly don't want to the option 2, which is option 4, I think, or
Yeah,
option 2, which is option 4.
That's why I had to go to those graphs and where I felt we should be in.
Yeah,
my apologies.
Certainly, I guess just laying out my leaning, certainly leaning towards option 4B, which again adopts that per square meter basis within the residential approach, so that then folks are open to build how they wish, but that the rates ultimately defined by that gross floor area.
The bigger you build, the more it's going to cost you, and so be it.
Yep. Yeah. Rather than penalizing a duplex at the same rate, let's say it's 12,500 square feet, instead of building a 2,500 square foot room or house and paying, arguably less than on a per unit basis.
And I'd argue whatever happened to the 1,200 square foot houses anyways, but that's the sidebar.
But that's where I would lean first.
Okay, and you define that as 4B?
That's 4B.
Okay. Councillor Manuel?
We've been talking about the comparisons. I just want to note that 4 of the communities in the comparisons, they're lower to where we're shooting for at the moment, but they're all subject to change, which means they're probably being reviewed as well, and we're probably all moving up kind of thing. So yeah, the fact that they're lower than where we're shooting at, I don't think it means a lot.
So do you have any general direction you'd like the bylaw to go in?
No, I'm you're guessing. Estimation.
No. You're one of 7 of us. You have to come to the table.
Nope.
I'm going to go to Councillor Dale. Thoughts, comments? I mean,
I'm liking 2B. I think that's a good one.
Actually, as per the resolution, there's 3A, 3B, 4A, or 4B. And again, to Councillor Routley's and probably my point is, it's hard to translate those to where they land in the comparables for me, but I will trust the analysis.
Oh, apologies. Sorry. I meant 3B.
Yeah.
3B.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Dale.
I meant 3B, not 2B.
Thank you. To be or not to be. Mr. Armstrong, piping in.
Carrie, would you be able to run to the first chart comparison? It might be worth just running through these
Option
options.
3A
Um,
or the,
that's the one. Okay, so under this scenario, this is all residential, whether it's low density, medium density, or high density, would be charged the square meter rate. And any residential would be charged either the option 3B rate or
3B or 4B?
yes,
For
is the option 2.
so option 2 would be 4B in this scenario, and then option 1 would be 3B in this scenario.
Yeah, so this chart shows B, and then the next 3 charts thereafter that say low, medium, high, those are the A's for residential. 3A and 4A.
I gotta say that was clear as mud. Yeah, I appreciate your explanation, but to actually have it on one graph would have made a whole lot more sense. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, the issue is if you go back to the residential square meter one, that's because that covers, hey, we're charging per square meter, right?
Yeah,
The next 3 are we're charging per
per
unit.
unit.
Whether it's a single low density single family lot, or if it's in a townhouse, or if it's an apartment building. That's what these 3 show.
Breakout.
Low, medium, high. That's per unit.
Sure, please. Councilor Cooper?
So I'm doing my little calculations here.
Yeah.
And what I'm figuring out from what your explanation is, when I look at option 1, which is not the square meter, which is the residential, it's sorry, it's got a flipping. Hold on, where'd it go?
Gotta love technology.
Okay, so when I'm looking at the square meters, and I just picked a 1,700 square foot house and I put it into meters, we're looking at $28,935 approximately, which is higher than the cost for the set residential. So when we go to square meters, it's actually costing more. Is that correct? Is what I'm understanding when I'm looking at it and
Using
trying-
that comparable.
using a comparable of a 1,700, what you said,
Square
a
foot home.
square foot home. You said 12. I upped it to 17. I got,
I'll let Urban speak to that one.
okay.
S-
I guess
So-
the square meter cost is basically going to be higher for an average house than the set AB prices. Is that correct?
That would be dependent on the size of home that is brought forward through the square meter. So if a developer chooses, let's say, yes, the average apartment size is 85 square meters, but a developer chooses to develop a 60 square meter unit, that would be where they would see the difference in cost as compared to what the per unit is. So the per unit doesn't have any sort of reflection on size. That is just the basis, whereas the square meter rate would be impacted by the designed size of that unit.
So for clarity, I guess I'm talking about low density. I'm talking about an average 1,700 square feet, which break down into meters, low density a house. So in option 1, it's 36,000. In option 2, it's 24,000. And then I did my math, and then what I was figuring out for an average home, it's 28,935 for an average low density. So look, kind of smack dab in the middle of 1 and 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Clear in your mind now?
Got it.
Okay, anything else, Councilor Rutley?
So if I'm hearing the decision framework correctly. The first level, 3 versus 4, is around the reduction in the wastewater treatment plant. 3 is the 5 million reduction, 4 is the 10 million reduction. And then we have the decision whether or not to look at whether or not residential be fit within the per square meter gross floor area basis. A being without it, A is remaining per unit parcel, and B is moving to that per square meter. that's I'm seeing nodding. Okay.
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
Okay. With that being said, I guess if there's no other questions, I'd be willing to put forward a motion. The council directs staff to proceed with the DCC background report and DCC bylaw for first and second reading using scenario 4B, which is the $10 million reduction from the wastewater treatment plant and using gross floor area that per square meter basis for residential.
Looking for a seconder? Second in motion, Council Bill.
I kind of almost think oh, sorry, I just started.
Speaking to the motion, Council Cooper?
Well, I kind of almost wish we could talk first 5 million or 10, because I was thinking 5 million. So I was thinking 5 million, and to me, it's pretty much the same. I guess I'm not as invested either way if it's square meter or per unit, but I guess the difference is the 5 million or 10 million. So I guess I'd like to know from everybody around the table what their thoughts are on reduction of the 5 million or reduction of the 10 million, what they're more in favor to or for.
Okay. Good question. Good to get things on the table. Council Rutley?
Happy to speak to that. The reduction, the further reduction of $5 million represents nearly a little bit over 20% reduction in the fees. I think that we're in a position, and a few developers, and recognizing there's a vested interest there, but they put it aptly around, it doesn't matter how well you set your DCCs, if they don't build, then the number is zero. And so I'm generally concerned about the DCCs dissuading development, not growth for growth's sake, but filling in on infrastructure that is already in the ground. Contributing to the growth is great, and so just making sure that we're relatively pragmatic. It's an unfortunate phrasing, but I think we're in a position where we're forced to kind of consider whether or not folks will actually want to build in Golden and contribute to the community. So that's where I lean towards that higher reduction, and recognizing that in 5 years' time, council at that time can bump it back up if they feel that that's.
Thank you for that. Any other comments, Council Grill?
Yeah, I'm very supportive of the 4B, and especially when it comes to the residential low density, because it's a choice then. It's a personal choice on how much you're going to spend to build a massive house for, 2 people, or even to build, I just think we don't want to dissuade growth. We want to, this is not going to be any more for on the municipal factor for the taxpayer, and growth is paying for growth here.
Okay, thank you for that. Councilor Hambrick?
Yes, I support Councillor Roadley in his motion.
Thank you. So to the question, well, I guess by virtue of the support of 4B, you're supporting the 10 million. Okay, thank you. Councilor Dale, any input on the 5 or the 10?
I could go either way, but I do prefer the B option, like Councillor Guio mentioned. It's up to the individual how much they want to spend.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, Councilor Cooper?
No, I'm just going between the charting, because just trying to figure out. So yeah, because I'm fine.
Anything to add, Councilor Emmanuel? No. Okay. I am also supportive of 4B. I'd like to see what that all looks like as it's flushed out in the bylaw, and the charts. I also believe there's opportunity to make up some of that by virtue of some of the granting programs that will be out there over time. With the infrastructure situation across the country and the focus and the awareness growing on that infrastructure deficit, I'm still believing that there will be grants, and sooner or later we will be successful. We will keep kicking that. We will keep trying to get grants to be able to take the burden off of the community. So yeah, speak in favor of pursuing 4B. I think I've gone around the table. Okay, one more math quick. Okay, so then seeing no other comments, the question's been called. I will ask the question. All those in favor of 4B? I'm looking for Councillor Hamburg and Councillor Dale. Councillor Dale's in favor. Councillor Hamburg, you in favor? You can verbalize.
Yes, I am in favor.
Thank you. I'm in favor, so it's carried unanimously. Okay, with that, Mr. Armstrong.
Well, you're the chair, but before we jump into the next big project, anybody want a quick break? We do have John Ingram online, and thank you for the clear direction, council, and Councilor Rutley, the way you put it was very clear, and so thank you.
Which is unusual. My apologies, Councilor.
And thank you to Sarah and Jen, and on to the next step. All right.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
so we'll take what I heard is a suggestion of a 7-minute break. 5-minute break. Carrie's looking at us going on. We'll take a bio break for 5 minutes. We'll come back at 18:17.
Your worship, I need to excuse myself from the meeting, sorry.
Thank you for that, Councilor Hamburg. So okay, Council, we're reconvening here. Continue on with the meeting. We're on to item 6 on the agenda, which is bylaws. We have bylaw 1516 and a staff report from Mr. Armstrong, sir.
All right. Pleased to have on the agenda today the OCP bylaw 1516 for first reading. Before we jump into the particulars of the report, we have John Ingram from EcoPlan in the virtual gallery, and he will do a recap of what we heard in late April, early May, and then we'll go from there.
Welcome, John. There you are.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council. Nice to be back. I have to, from listening to the last presentation, it almost sounded like there was a game of Battleship going on. B4, 1A.
Good analogy. Great analogy, actually.
But a very interesting presentation. So I'm just going to pull up a presentation. Which I hope everyone can see. And as Mr. Armstrong said, we're just going to go through a short presentation, a bit of an update, as it's been, well, not that long, but a month or so since we were last up there and presenting to council. So we are here in our timeline and presenting the final draft OCP for first reading. And in following this, this is a more detailed timeline about some of the next steps coming up, but following this session and depending on the outcome of it and the motion moving into referrals for late June into mid-July, public hearing on July 21st at 5 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm breaking up.
You were there going back about 30 seconds, 1 minute for about 1 minute, 30 seconds. So let's continue on and see how it sounds.
Oh, okay. Let me know. I charged up my, am I sounding okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on and I'll interrupt if it starts getting weird.
Okay. So I was just going through the timeline in the last slide, the overall timeline. And these are the details, as here we are with first reading June 25th, moving into referrals late June, mid-July, public hearing July 21st, 5 p.m. A third reading on either the 23rd or July 28th, that's to be determined. And looking forward to an August 18th adoption. We have made contingencies for a second public hearing if required. And that would be reading as amended July 23rd or 28th, a public hearing August 18th, third reading the 25th, and adoption September 1st. Aiming to wrap up the OCP portion of this project in September, and then moving into the zoning bylaw review and screening beginning in September, working towards a first reading of that zoning bylaw by March 2027. So just going back to the update objectives that were established at project outset, was to improve the navigation and structure of the OCP, to align it with new provincial guidelines, notably housing guidelines, to simplify designations, to simplify and illustrate development permit areas or DPAs, and a new DPA which is for wildfire interface. We created a number of supporting materials going back to January 2026 with a community profile. And much of that information on demographics and the like were carried into the OCP. We did a first round of engagement in February and produced a What We Heard report in March. And then we are there more recently, as Mr. Armstrong was reporting, we produced a What We Heard report for the second round of engagement. And so coming out of that engagement, which included sessions with council, we made a number of revisions and updates to the OCP, which we'll just highlight now. But in terms of that engagement that happened from the 20th to the 8th, there were 3 community conversation meetings with stakeholders, 2 drop-in open houses, an online open house, an online survey. There were pop-up events that were held after meeting with council. So at the Post Office Plaza, Locals Days, at the Golden Sky Bridge, and also at Golden Seniors Center. There's an additional guest speaker presentation at the Senior Center and their monthly coffee series. The first Golden Senior Center drop-in was to take advantage of Soup Day. There's a drop-in event at the Youth Center, and there's also participation, Mr. Armstrong, at some Jane's walks that took place. So those are walks commemorating the work of Jane Jacobs, and there are two of them, I believe, in Golden. So through the second round of engagement, almost 500 people participated, and the engagement focused on reviewing the OCP vision, guiding principles, and some key community-wide policies around land use, and we also did look at some the land use designations. And that was is a photograph of a pop-up, and many councillors attended a session that was held and using the sounding board there in Spirit Square, and it got a lot of attention and attraction. And one thing that I do want to acknowledge and celebrate is the fact that there's no graffiti that was on it, no tagging or anything like that, and it continued to capture a lot of feedback in the time that it was up. And so Mr. Armstrong had to refresh pens and sticky dots to go on it. And I think the only issue we had is that it was such a good stretch of weather that happened there that we had to take a number of photographs through the time that it was up, because some of the marker comments began to fade out. So from that engagement, one of the things that did change and was updated was the vision, and the grade or the gray text version was the version that was in the last draft, and it was updated in the current version to the large bolded plan. Golden is a resilient and inclusive mountain community that stewards its natural environment, supports a diverse local economy, and delivers a high quality of life today and for generations to come. And just wanting to point out again, because there's some discussions at the last council meeting, it is similar to the council strategic plan vision, which you recognize will be updated in the new council strategic plan that would be coming out in 2027. We also updated some of the guiding principles. They're refined and prioritized through the outreach. And one of the things to point out, which you can see in that little clip of that comes out of the What We Heard report, is that there is a lot of support for these principles, and really the updates and revisions were just largely changes to the wording around the principles themselves to further refine and clarify them. As well, there was a lot of support around the designations themselves. You'll note there's the one below speaking to commercial and limiting residential uses in these areas so as not to draw desired activity away from mixed-use commercial residential, i.e. the downtown area. But even that had majority support, though there was people who were unsure and looking for more information on that one. And we just wanted to highlight the survey. There's an online survey that was done, had 167 responses. And just wanted to point out a couple of points that we did have. The majority of respondents were from the town of Golden, but one of the things that is worth highlighting is the higher participation from the 24 to 34 and 35 to 44 age categories, who really provided the majority of the feedback, and that is a positive sign, because oftentimes in surveys like this, they tend to skew with an older respondent rate. So it's good to get a real mix here. And then with the OCP update and some of the changes that were made, I touched on some of this already, the OCP vision. So it was updated from community feedback. The guiding priorities language was refined. The community-wide policies, which are those aspirational policies that we spoke about at the last council meeting. There's added language around the aspirational nature of the policies themselves. There's a reorganization and grouping of policies in the updated draft. Some of the language was refined, and clarifications to ensure that named organizations were seen as examples only. With designations, there are some minor amendments or additions rather, and refinements to policies and some minor map revisions. And similarly, in the development permit areas, there were some minor additions and refinements to policies and as well some minor map revisions. And finally, in the implementation section, it was updated. The implementation speaks to follow-up actions and studies, and that section was updated. There's an additional action that was added to it, and the implementation actions were refined somewhat. And I will pass it back to Mr. Armstrong to speak to this, which is our last slide, which is the staff recommendation.
Mr. Armstrong?
Well, yes, we're here today to seek, to answer any questions about the updates and ultimately to seek first reading and proceed to public hearing on July 21st at 5 p.m. And then the other piece that's on that slide is just an update on the stakeholder engagement process we did on Spirit Square, and we didn't do a full-on survey thereafter. This is really about citing a washroom, but nonetheless, we hosted one of our open houses in Spirit Square, and at the same time talked about that location and a soon to be project. So we're bringing that What We Heard report, and we're also syncing up with the great work that C2CI is leading, which is really amazing to see a community-led project like that by community members. So just looking for those yin yang aspects of those two projects, and we'll be reporting back. But John had placed this picture on this slide, and it just seemed like a great spot to do an update on that side project that EcoPlan and Matthew Thompson, our landscape architect, are assisting with. So with all that said, there are a couple aspects on page 3 about consultation in my staff report, but maybe council has specific questions on the OCP before we go there.
Thank you for that. Mr. Armstrong, can you speak to the intent of a first reading? Kind of broad strokes.
Yeah, I'd say the intent, I'll back it up a bit. The intent of bringing the draft forward in May was to get some solid feedback from both this table and also the public, and that built on the first round of engagement, and then come forward with a second draft, which is what first reading is, and reflect on that feedback, implement it, catch a few required updates to some mapping along the way, and policies and wording in the OCP as well, and then come back in front of council for first reading. Once first reading is given, we'll put notices in the newspaper, not through our social media channels, that the public hearing is occurring July 21st at 5 p.m. if that recommendation is passed here tonight. And then at that point, we'll hear from the public, and if there's general support, thereafter council would consider second and third reading, and then the final step would be to send it to the Ministry of Transportation and the Agricultural Land Reserve, and then subsequently adoption. Now, if there's major changes required after the public hearing, then we would have to hold a second public hearing, and that's built into the timeline that John presented in his slide deck.
Okay, so a bit of a takeaway is that we need that first reading to initiate the public input component.
The official statutory public hearing component part.
Thank you. And I had a broad question. Was the pop-up, if that's what it was, at Skybridge, was that the only event or information gathering event that was held outside of the municipal boundaries?
Yes, and it fit really well in with it was Locals Day at Skybridge within our engagement window. So it was a given to go there despite it just being on the periphery of our boundary, but lots of locals.
Thank you. Council, any thoughts, comments with regards to the document you see before you? Council Guil?
So I went through it. It doesn't come off clear that these were examples when it came to the partners. And I would suggest that unless someone is under contract for more than 1 year, they shouldn't be considered a partner. This is a document for 20 years, and I'm concerned that by listing names in here, it's going to assume that we would be funding them. All the different, partners, examples. That's one thing that I have. And the other one was regarding the monitoring of this document. It talks about the need to monitor it, but there's no timeline or what it should be monitored for. And one other thing was, it states that we need 798 units by 2041, but do we even have enough space in this municipality for that many units to meet that? So those are like things that kind of jumped out at me.
So maybe with that, if you don't mind, we'll just allow staff or John to respond to those. To the point of partners first, I guess. Definition of partners.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through the chair to Councillor. We had changed the language around partners, collaborators, based on feedback that we had received from council in the last sessions, making it clear that they're example partners, and hopefully to not insinuate or imply that there was any funding linked to that. I do want to point out that according to the updated Local Government Act, the OCPs are required to be reviewed and updated every 5 years, as housing reports are updated every 5 years. So across the province, legislatively, they've linked housing reports with updates of OCPs. So there is that 5-year period. In terms of monitoring, the monitoring and evaluation section, which is brief about the end, and it's principally about the monitoring and evaluation to ensure that it aligns with current and anticipated housing needs, which do look out, and maybe this is a little confusing, they do look out 20 years, according again to legislation, but that you would look back every 5 years to monitor, evaluate, and update to ensure that they align. And then you'd also, in addition to looking at the housing needs report, you'd look at current, community demographics, development that has occurred over the 5 years. Going back to your previous presentation, should Golden be successful in getting $10 million grant for infrastructure improvements, those kind of projects and updates would be pulled into and included into the OCP update. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, Mr. Armstrong.
No, to the question of, do we have, land in our community
Oh, that was a good one.
to accommodate the projected housing units? Just on 7th Street alone, there was 100 units built in the last 5 years. So just probably in the mixed use development permit area, we could meet that, let alone in the large amount of residential designated land that we have.
Thank you for that. Any follow-up, Councilor Wheel?
Yeah, because I was looking at different municipalities with their OCPs and they have like a regular yearly review of their OCP. If there's any changes within their community, they like to kind of,
So it's more like a housekeeping.
yes.
As
which
opposed
it
to a
wouldn't
full.
be bringing in a consultant to do it. It would be through the council and the staff that they would go through OCP if there was more growth or.
And that might address some of the comments with regards to partners, in that the partners, and probably not a fair comment, some partners could in fact be a flash in the pan and they'd be here for 1 or 2 years for a specific purpose and then they're no longer around. So then an annual edit would be valuable from that perspective, just to update. And like I say, doing that internally, is that something that staff have contemplated? Or the process has contemplated, Mr. Armstrong or John?
I would just, I think it's important to report back to council at an interim stage within the 5 years, ideally with at least some of the aspects in the OCP in how they've progressed or not, kind of like a semi-annual strategic plan update, but annually. I don't think necessarily want to commit to that, but if we're going from every 18 years to every 2.5 years, like I think we'll be doing pretty good. And there's definitely the legislated every 5 years, which will probably be a little bit less for us by the time the next housing needs report deadline rolls up. Definitely we can, before adoption of the bylaw or with adoption of the bylaw, come back to council. I guess the one thing that I've been thinking about is with a bit of some of the key aspects in here that council would be seeking an update on, and kind of staff can take a kick at it and see if we've missed anything. And like a 1-pager or 2-pager with some of the key aspects that we could report back on.
I'll be so bold as to look to Councilor Guo and say, does that kind of fit the intent of what you're looking for with the annual? And I support that concept as far as keeping it current and fresh and not having to go through the whole formal process. And so, like I say, it's more of a housekeeping situation. Thank you for that. Councilor Manuel?
Same subject. I agree. Every 2.5 years is probably going to be more than enough. However, I'm sure there may be events that we weren't expecting and could be major events, and I think we'd all be aware of that, and then that would trigger review. But for the most part, I think every 2.5 years makes sense.
Thank you. Any other comments, Councilor Cooper? With a nice smile on your face.
Yeah, so I was looking through the report. It's hard because we did only receive it this morning and there is quite a lot to compare. So I thought very stressed over time today to actually do a fulsome whole review. So, but looking at it, I did look through the reports, what was updated and what was asked of public, and nothing really was mentioned or considered in the update with the comments of having nonprofits mentioned over. And I have looked at it and I did see like what was policy 1 is now policy 7. So they've reorganized it, but it still has the same nonprofits' names repeated. They're just in different orders. And I've gone through and I found it multiple times. So the intent of a policy to support the objectives, I feel strongly that we don't need to include a nonprofit's name because the intent is to support the project or support development. It doesn't matter who we partner with. And I'm very concerned repeatedly, I've said it every time, it pigeonholes council when we are only reporting and mentioning repeatedly. So when I'll give an example, which was point 1 before, which is now point 7, continue working with community partners, including Golden Economic Development and other organizations to implement Golden affordable housing. If the intent is for us to work with partners, all we need to say is to continue collaboration with community partners to implement a Golden affordable housing strategy. So when we're looking at the intent of a policy to meet the objectives, there's no reason that we need to mention specific organizations, because that, to me, is strapping council to specific things. And the policy is the intent to move the work forward, regardless of who might be in at the time in the town, because these organizations, we don't know. They have their own boards, independent. They can move, their directives can change. We don't have any say on that. But we do intend to support affordable housing strategy. And I feel strongly that that's what's need to be reflective in here, not a specific organization, because I want to support Golden affordable housing. And if it happens to be with Golden Economic Development, great. But if it doesn't, then I feel that we're just going to be going through revision after revision, which actually costs us money because, say, an organization isn't here. So I really feel strongly that it really needs to be addressed. And I don't feel the changes were addressed from the last time I mentioned it, from the time before I mentioned it to now. And it's still an issue, and I can't support it.
Thank you. The housing one I find is quite an interesting one, because it's not within our bailiwick. I mean, it's not one of the services we provide, but we play a fairly large role in ensuring that there is product out there for the community of varying descriptions. So yeah, how do we, I guess my thought is, how do we draw attention to the fact that we're not in the housing business through an OCP? How do we communicate that to the public, that we recognize that we're not in the housing business? We have a role to play in identifying what those roles are. And by virtue of working with partners, we will help to deliver on the needs of the community, type of thing.
Yeah, and I agree. We can work with partners. Like, the whole purpose is to collaborate and work with partners. It just doesn't specifically have to be. And it's also like the age-friendly community plan. Currently, it states that we're working with Golden Economic Development for the age-friendly plan, but we can work with anyone for the age-friendly plan. It's those things. It's like, as long as we're collaborating with community partners, if that is the intent, then I fully support the intent to work with community partners. And I feel like that's a big thing, that it's still here and it's not being addressed.
Thank you for that. Councilor Grill?
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's pigeonholing us. We do work with community partners in housing because we offer housing, we offer land at reduced prices. We do it through zoning. And I think that by putting it in that we support affordable housing and work with partners, it doesn't say that it's our responsibility for housing.
And that's the part I'd like to be very clear on.
So I don't think naming a partner changes that fact.
Adds any credibility.
No.
Any other thoughts, comments from other councilors? Councilor Rutley?
Thank you. I just push back on the notion that the municipality doesn't play a role in the housing file as outlined. You know, we're the zoning authority. We establish
within those tools. Yeah.
And very much so, it is our responsibility to foster the economic outlook for the community, and housing does play a huge role in that. So while directly we might not be a residential landlord, we do very much play a huge role in the overall housing outlook, as established in Housing Needs Report, which we are responsible for, and all of the other regulations.
Thank you for that.
As to laying out, like, you know, specific partners. It's one of those things that's neither here nor there for me. I think that, you know, identifying organizations, you know, that are currently operating within those portfolios I don't see a harm personally, and certainly the direction within 1.1.3 around like the OCP doesn't force any future decisions of council. It's just a framework, and certainly if we're operating with organizations such as X, that's great. We're the legal realm is very clear around, it's like birds of a feather flock together. And so as long as it's an organization also in that realm, obviously we're going to be working with them as much as possible. On the childcare front, Golden Community Resources Society would be at the table, and a number of other operators. Yeah, so if the ultimate direction is to kind of clean it out and reduce word count so that we just lay out like we're going to work with partners wherever possible because we don't play a direct role in housing or childcare or whatever else. Yeah, that's fine by me.
Thank you, and thank you for emphasizing the roles that we do play in the realm of housing. Although we're not I like your language. We're not a landlord. Councillor Guill, comments?
So when we talk about, we're not covering everybody in that partners thing. We're not, especially when it comes to diversity and like newcomers to the area, accessibility, all these things are not being covered. I think that I can't support it with named partners.
Okay.
So I wouldn't move forward to voting for.
Any other comments? I'll look to the councillors online. Councillor Dale, any comments?
I also feel like we don't need to put specific entities in there. Just keep it general.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Hamburg, I see you're still with us. Any comments? Or maybe that's just a leftover. Okay, I'll move on. Any Councillor Manuel?
No degree. We work. We've talked. We collaborate. We're collaborate with whoever we can work with that advances the value or advances the community. So we don't need to do names particularly. Yeah, just we're collaborative people, and we'll collaborate for the benefit of our town.
Thank you. Councillor Rutley, see your hand up, and I'll look to staff.
Oh, that's fine. This was for a separate.
Okay,
item.
so staff, with that input, and it seems to be around the table, responses, process, what does that change?
Yeah, I think I'll let John speak to some of the revisions that happened around the partners, and just offer that it's a very common practice to note some of those key partners, and doesn't bind council at all. It seemed like the majority wanted example language put in at the last meeting in May, and maybe name a few more examples, and I think that occurred, and I'll let John speak to that.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. There was example language added. It's fairly straightforward to, I just did a quick count. There's 8 organizations, from the Chamber of Commerce, Golden Tourism, Kicking Horse Culture, Columbia Basin Trust, Wild Sites, Family Center, Local Food Matters, and Golden Community Resources. We can quite easily remove those names, but I would look for a point of clarification from council that where other organizations and principally the other government organizations, including the regional districts, we make mention of working with ministries, Ministry of Transportation and Transit, for example, or BC Housing, other organizations, that those would remain, or would those also be looked to be removed?
Good question, seeking clarification. Thoughts, comments, Councillor Cooper?
Yeah, I think the provincial partners need to remain as they stand. and working with the province and working with Area A. I feel that all of that needs to stand. It's just with the community partners, just taking out specific names and adding the wording, work with community partners or other organizations, something to that effect. And then that would be, I think, systematically across the board, make the entire document more aligned with the purpose of the policy as opposed to the partnership. And it's aligning the purpose of what the intent of the policy is.
So you see those being.
I see them as very quite different. Yeah,
different.
working with the province is like they're the holder of the bucket. We are working with the province. That's different.
Thank you for that, Councilor Wheel.
The only consolation, like one that I would not remove is anything to do with Indigenous relations. That's gotta remain.
And those are other level, that's another level. It could be argued that's another level of government, whether it's equal to our level or a level above us, yeah. So I'm hearing reference to, I believe you said there was 8, and I think I'll define them all as not-for-profits. I think, is that an accurate statement? I don't recall. Yes? Councilor Utley, my apologies.
No, that's okay. Just for the context, BC Housing, CMHC, Columbia Basin, that's all mentioned. And there's a further addendum in there to say other funders, while if we're gonna keep it clean, we can, we could just strip it all out, have just funders. To Councillor Guio's point, no, I'm not able to find any like specific reference to say Shuswap Band or Kiskanook in the OCP. There is obviously the recognition within the land acknowledgement and within the community profile. Although I'd note that within 2.3, the acknowledgement it differs quite substantially, I would say, from the land acknowledgement prior in the document. So that was a point that I was going to raise earlier, was just on that piece particularly, but yeah.
Maybe to that point, John or Phil, are you able to speak to the changes in the land acknowledgement? John?
Sorry, I'm just scooching up to the.
Yeah, pulling it up.
And sorry, what was the specific question on the land acknowledgement? I might have missed that.
It's just purely that the acknowledgement as it exists in the second paragraph of the community profile differs from the statement within 2.3.
I was looking. There is at the start of the document. There is a land acknowledgement on the page below schedules. I don't have the community profile document open in front of me, so I would have to.
Sorry for clarity. It's the community profile as shown in the OCP section 2.3, and it differs substantially from the acknowledgement in the kind of preamble or in the beginning of the at the bottom of the schedules and in the first couple paragraphs of the community profile section of the OCP.
It was 2.3.
Oh.
So Ms. White,
I would
bring that up on the screen.
Sure. I could, in answer to the question, 2.3 is not land acknowledgement. It's just part of the in the context statement or context section on Indigenous history, presence, and relationships. And the actual land acknowledgement sits at the beginning of the document on the same page that the schedules are listed.
Councilor Early, comments?
I guess the biggest point of difference is that in 2.3 it speaks to the traditional ancestral and unceded territories, the Tanacha, but only makes a cultural connection to the Sechwepum versus all the prior statements, which show that highlight the Golden is it is also the shared ancestral unceded territories of the Sechwepum alongside the Tanacha. It's just two very different statements functionally.
And I would also say there's been a movement towards no longer using unceded.
That's a provincial political
Well,
choice.
it's actually being taken up by a lot of groups relative to the possible interpretation, I guess the best way to say it. So there may be some value in looking at that hard as far as whether or not there'd be the inclusion of unceded. Councilor Riley?
Sorry to go on. I guess I would just ask if that this section in particular has been referred to the local nations, and just to make sure that they're comfortable with the language. If you know, if they're comfortable with it, I'm certainly comfortable.
So, John, has this been referred to the local nations, whether it be the Ktunaxa or the Secwepemc?
I would defer to Mr. Armstrong. I know that there was some outreach that was conducted with those nations and organizations, and that there would be, this document would be referred to them as well as part of the referral process.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, the draft was sent to the Ktunaxa and the Secwepemc and 2 other bands or First Nations during the last engagement period. We haven't heard back. When we refer out post first reading or anytime, we can definitely highlight this section. Also, I'd be so bold as to suggest that if first reading is granted today, we could list a couple additional amendments in the resolution, including adjusting this 2.3 wording. It sounds like a phrase there to adjust, so that could happen.
I think that's a good direction, given, and that gets things on the table and establishes the public hearing date. So thank you for that. Sounds like a good solution to the queries. Any other comments from council with regards to the document as we've seen it? Councilor Cooper.
Hi. Going through looking at what section is it? It's 1.16 when it's stating explore establishing of a sustainable. Oh no, that's why I was weird. Explore mechanism to utilize municipality tax tools to support affordable housing delivery, including revitalization tax exemptions for housing development on vacant or derelict properties in downtown Golden. This is repeated again, almost verbatim later on. And I'm wondering what the purpose is having it here twice in different sections, because it's the same thing 2 different times within the document, and what's the intent of it?
John, are you able to speak to that?
I think there is some redundancy that is built in, and some similar policies where they cross-cut across these community-wide policy sections. So that's the reason why you'd be seeing it there. But again, these can be removed.
So my takeaway from that comment was that it was purposefully, it being redundant was actually purposeful. Is that a fair takeaway?
Well, yes, Your Worship, that there is some redundancy given the cross-cutting nature of some of the policies that are in the community-wide policies section, that they move from one bucket into another bucket.
Great, thank you very much for that. Mr. Armstrong, you had your hand up?
Yeah, just I find the same thing. It's like, oh, I already read that. Sometimes when reading a document like this, and you want clarity and brevity and all that. So this particular one that you're referring to is in the housing needs section. and then it's later in the local economy section. And you'll see some overlap between the residential land use designation and the commercial mixed use residential land use designation, where those things apply to both, and that consistency of wording is a good thing. Because it applies in different pots. But my last comment on this is we did do a legal review of this OCP, and we came out of it very good. So hats off to EcoPlan. But the lawyer did say he was very pleased with how concise and focused this OCP was. So all that in balance there. Yeah, thank you.
My comment would be that was a lawyer, not an engineer, when it comes to pointed and concise. Councillor Rutley?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess in Councillor Cooper's last point, like it kind of raised a like a structural piece in my mind when I was referring to the draft, which is that it's very difficult to know where in the document you are, and so it's like it's just a quality of life piece, but like utilizing the headers to just say, oh, you're in section 4.1 or anything like that, just so that it's easy to maneuver through for folks that are going to be referring to this for the foreseeable future. Also maybe differentiating the objective numbering to policies, because referring to 4.1.1, I don't know if I'm referring to an objective or policy, and just for it was just one of those quality of life pieces that came to mind. More functionally, like I know I raised it in the last time, but a number of the pieces really feel like tactical items that particularly I guess I would draw attention to the wildfire interface DPA, where a lot of like prescription around the building type is established, and it feels, and I always refer back to staff on the appropriateness, but it feels like it should live more in a building regulation than an OCP, which is supposed to be guiding the decisions of council around land use, and not necessarily what a building permit application is gonna how that's gonna be processed by staff. But I guess just a question to staff around, like, is it appropriate to have these like building level prescriptions in the OCP rather than kind of porting it over to a building regulation? Or is it just like, well, we just don't have the time to get the building regulation done at times, so we'll let it live here for now and then clean it up in the future?
Mr. Armstrong?
Oh boy. Yeah. So when the Building Act was put in place, I think is when some of this stuff came into effect, where the province got really particular about building bylaws, in particular being Code Plus, where you're requiring things that aren't in the provincial building code, which is there's overlapping jurisdictions there. So the best tool is actually within the development permit area. And development permit areas are guidelines, but they're also that is kind of they can be quite technical and almost read like a zoning bylaw or building bylaw, but they're applied a bit differently through that guideline lens. So this is the appropriate place, and yeah, it seems like more in the weeds than the rest of the policy document. But yeah, I had the pleasure of sitting on an MIABC led session or two, actually, on regulations around interface and fire, and so I feel very confident in what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Councillor Manuel?
I was just, there's one little thing, and it's an aspirational thing, I think, and I can't find it exactly. It's in one of the policy things, but whatever. And it's about local parks and basically saying we will maintain them. Yeah, of course. but I'd also like to see, and if I had the choice, something more aspirational, because I've said this many times before, but all our recreation is, south of the river, and there's lots of people north of the river, but there's no recreational facilities, even some kind of small pocket parks or something like that. And I'd like to see if we could do something about that. So it's aspirational, but I'll leave it at that.
So to John, I guess it'd be a question to John or Mr. Armstrong, where would something aspirational like that fit in an OCB, or does it fit in an OCB? Either one, you want to take that on? I see you're both hesitating to let the other take it on. Is that what I
would look to see what Mr. Armstrong would offer, but an aspirational policy could live in the Parks and Recreation section in the community-wide policies. There's an intent to, or an aspiration to increase recreational spaces and park space south of the river, or something along those lines. If that is indeed a shared aspiration of councils.
So to that end, look around the table for some feedback.
Well, I'd
Cooper?
say 4.8, it says, provide a range of parks and open spaces to meet diverse needs and abilities of all residents. So that is in the objective. It just doesn't have where. It's a broad thing that could be interpreted through any policy. So I would say that it is actually there as an objective in 4.8, parks and open spaces.
And I'm seeing some nodding heads around the table. So what I'm hearing is it's already addressed in that 4.8, 4.1.
4.8, the first objective.
Okay. Miss White? Oh. Oh, sorry, John, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to, thank you, Your Honor. I was just going to add that one of the potential actions outlined in the OTP actions and initiatives table in the follow-up studies and actions section 7.2 is a Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which would provide another opportunity to identify park spatial geographic deficiencies in the existing park and recreation
Good comeback.
Of Golden.
Good comeback. That makes absolute sense. That would be the place to identify it. Councilor Cooper?
It's my last one, I promise.
I'll hold you to that.
No.
No.
I do appreciate what Councilor Rutley said, because I do agree that when we have objectives and we have policies and they're all numbered the same, it does get, especially when you made notes 0.2, but it could be 0.2 where. So if we go 4.8, 0.1, 0.2 and label the objectives and policies difference, I would appreciate that as well, because I do feel that's a bit,
Provide some clarity.
it just makes it really clear where you're moving in the document. My
Good
last
point.
only real comment is about what language we're using, because we do use a lot of times support local partners, but then we also have somewhere will strive to ensure. And to me, will strive to ensure is aspirational. And how can we strive to ensure? There's no real direction in a comment that says will strive to. So I was just, it's a little bit wondering what the purpose of it, and it's if we're just, and it's, the comment was will strive to ensure that all development within the designation provides a good traffic circulation patterns, entrance and exits. It's just like, will strive to, or will we do it kind of thing. It's a bit ambiguous, I find.
There's a word for that language, and I just can't remember what that word is right now. Maybe it's just as well. Any comments from staff?
As someone that will be administering this in large part, I think there's certain times where you do the best you can with a traffic pattern out of a certain development where there's land constraints, topography, narrowness of a lot, what have you. So having some aspirational wiggle room in there is sometimes useful. John, anything to add?
No, nothing to add on my part.
And so the intent is there to allow, and I like that language, wiggle room. My language is leaving out. Okay, you can live with it. Staying as is, will strive to ensure. Okay, anything else, council? So that's the resolution up there. Was there changes? And that's the addition there. The highlighted is the additional. As per discussion. Give you a second to read it. Looking for a mover. Councilor Routley, seconder. Councilor Manuel. Councilor
just gonna-
Cooper.
Don't you want it to say like Sequatla and Tanaha Nation? Like, do you want that clearly identified? Like, that's what I was taking from what you were getting at in 2 or in.
Yeah, I think that's.
'Cause it
that's
says-
captured in the highlighted.
That's
section
okay?
in Section 2.3, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the resolution that's on the floor? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Councilor Routley.
Just seeing that if there's no further business, looking to staff.
I'm trying to get in the
list,
queue
just-
there for 0.7. Mr. Armstrong, anything to add prior to the adjournment? I'd like to thank John for attending and providing the information, the reports, and the ongoing engagement that's been going on, and looking forward to public input on July 21st. A reminder, that's also a council day, so it'll have to be a short council meeting so that everybody can show up for the. With that, I'll turn over to staff.
Yeah, no, I'd just like to thank John too. We probably could have got this here earlier, but there was some delay on my side. Also, we wanted to take the time just to get through some of the legal review, which came out in spades. So that's awesome. It came out very well, if that's what that expression means. Just a note for council's background is we put some maps in just as placeholders for the public hearing process. Like you'll notice there's 11 flood maps at the end. We'll consolidate that down into one, but we just wanted it there for the public hearing copy, so folks knew that was part of the plan, and there'll be some refinements prior to the next one coming forward to council for readings, but the major content is there, and yeah, thank you very much for arranging and coming to this special meeting, and a big milestone for the community. 18 years later, here we are at first reading. So
Getting
we're
it
on the dance
road.
floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. And John, just to know, Mr. Armstrong will only get 3 lashings for being a little bit late on his end.
Oh,
Again.
thank you. I would live with 2, but we'll stick with that number.
Thanks for the slight reprieve, John.
Thank you. And then we move on to item number 7, Ms. Councilor Rowley. Moving adjournment, looking for a second. Oh, Councilor Guile was in there for seconding the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously.